Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News starts with breaking news.
Breaking news tonight. Within the last 20 minutes, Columbia police announced the arrest of a man accused of murdering a child in Columbia. Larry Brownlee Jr. is charged with second-degree murder, armed criminal action, and felony possession of a firearm. That's in connection to the death of a 3-year-old yesterday. Good evening, everyone. I'm Emily Spain.
And I'm Evie Allen. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. The shooting happened near Blue Ridge Road and Leeway Drive yesterday.
After the shooting, police say the mother of the victim and her boyfriend tried taking the child to a nearby fire station, but they got into a car crash. Police confirmed the child died early this morning. KOMU 8's Maya Kitchens is here in the studio with the details of that arrest.
And Maya, what have you learned from CPD?
Emily, Evie, police say they arrested Brownlee Jr. at 3:18 this afternoon in Columbia. But CPD didn't say where exactly officers arrested him. He's being held at the Boone County Jail. We do know Brownlee Jr. has a previous assault record. In 2021, Brownlee Jr. was sentenced to 1 year in jail after pleading guilty to 4th-degree assault. In 2014, he served 7 years in jail after pleading guilty to unlawful use of a weapon and attempting to produce a controlled substance with intent to distribute. In 2013, he pleaded guilty to domestic assault. He spent a year in jail for that crime. And back in 2012, he served 45 days in jail for misdemeanor trespassing. Today, KOMU 8 News spoke with community members who say they are grieving for the family. We'll continue to follow this story, and we'll bring you updates on air and online on KOMU.com. In the studio, Maya Kitchens, KOMU 8 News.
All right, thank you, Maya. According to the CDC, over 2,000 people in the state of Missouri have died from an overdose from April of 2022 to April of 2023.
Today, one Mid-Missouri Recovery Center is tackling the opioid epidemic one brush stroke at a time. KOMU 8's Chusela Sandala is here to show us how artwork is bridging the road to recovery.
Painting is Landmark Recovery's top therapies for people seeking recovery. This is just one of many events the group will be hosting this week. The Recovery Center has partnered with Cole County Treatment Court for Recovery Awareness Week. The events are meant to empower both the community and individuals battling substance abuse. One director says everything this week is meant to help show that recovery is not as rare as it seems.
A whole week to try to get the community, the recovery community, as well as the entire community of Jefferson City together to celebrate recovery. And let people know that recovery is possible, inspire hope, and share some success stories and get the community involved.
Some of the highlights of this week's events include Healthy Habits in the Kitchen workshop that is tomorrow, and an overdose education event with community leaders on Thursday. If you or someone you know is struggling with substance abuse, contact 573-445-5035. In the studio, Chusela Sandala, KOMU 8 News.
Well, patchy fog has been something that we've been getting used to over the last few days, and tomorrow morning is going to be no different. We're once again going to be watching the possibility for some patchy fog to develop across mid-Missouri as we head into your early morning hours for your day for Tuesday. Again, the majority of that fog going to stay pretty isolated more towards those river regions, closer to the lake, other bodies of water as well, and in those low-lying areas. Throughout the rest of your mid-morning hours, we should see that fog burn off pretty quickly, and we'll be left with a mostly sunny sky for the remainder of your day into those afternoon hours for Tuesday. So as you're getting ready to head out the door, likely going to want those light jackets. Temperatures in the upper 50s and lower 60s across mid-Missouri. Again, going to be watching for that early morning patchy fog. As we continue throughout the rest of this week, temperatures tomorrow in the middle 80s. We're in the lower to middle 80s throughout the remainder of this week. I'll have a few more details about the rest of your week ahead in my full forecast.
Okay, thanks, Kesley. Well, one spay-neuter clinic in Columbia announced today that they could be shutting their doors this week.
KOMU 8's Grant Green went to the clinic to find out why. Grant.
The Spay Neuter Project has been providing its services for 8 years now. And just in the last 2 years, the clinic has taken care of 3,500 cats and 2,000 dogs. But the clinic is still unable to turn a profit. I talked to the executive director of the clinic and other dog owners about how the closure of the clinic could affect the community.
She might. For many pet owners, the cost of medication can be expensive.
And I just had to get all of her shots updated like this last week, and it was like $200. and that's just like every year, not on top of your normal like preventative like food and like heartworm pills.
That's why the Spay and Neuter Project provides affordable care for low-income customers.
We are able to keep our prices affordable, particularly for people who are on lower income. We do offer a Spay It Forward program for people who cannot even afford our services. So most of the time our services are about a third of some of the local vets.
But running operations as a nonprofit can be a difficult business.
So we're running at a deficit of at least $13,000 pretty much a month. The reasons that we're seeing that is, one, that supplies have gone at least up about 30%. All of our medical supplies, the vaccines we buy, everything that we purchase is going up.
Now, with $13,000 in debt, one former customer says the fear of closing is hard to bear.
That hurts me because they did a great job with my dog, and they actually cared about his progress and his recovery. And he got infection and everything else, and they gave him plenty of medication. They gave him medicine to calm him down so he could recover completely. And the doctor also had me take pictures of his injury every single day until it was healed.
When it comes to closing, the project worries it could happen as early as December, but that could change if help is provided.
The clinic should be shutting its doors within the year. The clinic is looking for corporate sponsors and businesses to help them with procedures like spay and neuters, along with vaccines, microchips, heartworm tests for animals. In the studio, Grant Green, KOMU 8 News.
All right, thank you, Grant. Now to Capitol Hill, where deeply divided House Republicans are scrambling to avert a government shutdown on October 1st. Now, that's this coming Sunday. Millions of federal workers, including military personnel, will face delayed paychecks if the government shuts down. With time running out, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says a deal to fund the government is still possible. That's despite the hard-right members of his own party standing in the way. The situation is causing a stir on both sides of the aisle.
If people want to close the government, it only makes them weaker. Why would they want to stop paying the troops or stop paying the border agents or the Coast Guard?
Funding the government is one of the most basic fundamental responsibilities of Congress. And if the Republicans in the House don't start doing the job, we should stop electing them.
Even if the House reaches a short-term funding deal, it still needs to clear the Democrat-led Senate. Senators are working on their own proposals, but for now, no deal is in sight. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris reaffirmed their commitment to funding historically black colleges and universities during a meeting at the White House and the HBCU board. And the president said his administration has invested money for research and Pell Grants.
I strongly believe, based on experience and knowledge about what our country needs in terms of its strength and growth and development, that our HBCUs are extraordinary centers of academic excellence.
This meeting kicked off the National HBCU Conference Week in Arlington, Virginia.
The man convicted of killing 23 people at a Walmart in El Paso, Texas, must now pay millions of dollars in restitution. That's according to court documents released today. Patrick Cruces pleaded guilty to 90 federal charges, including hate crimes, and will now pay more than $5.5 million to the victims. The shooting took place in 2019. 23 people died and 22 others were injured. It was one of the deadliest attacks on Latinos in U.S. history. He's currently serving 90 consecutive life sentences. Residents from some parts of Hawaii are finally allowed to return to their burned properties. It's been more than a month since the devastating wildfires there. Health officials are concerned toxic soot could be on the ground, which has potential long-term health risks with exposure. In Lahaina, authorities gave residents personal protective equipment before entering their homes. Some people there say they're trying their best to cope.
This was preventable, and it's unfortunate that it even happened. And a lot of us are sad, and a lot of us, like myself, we're angry. And we're trying to process the best way, and we're trying to be positive.
The fires killed 97 people and damaged about 3,000 homes and businesses. Well, after a 3-month hiatus, the Biden administration is reopening a COVID website today.
It's using $600 million to produce and distribute COVID-19 testing kits. The site just required users to include their contact and shipping information. You can receive up to 4 tests per household. With cases surging across the country, one Mid-Missouri pharmacist says this will give everyone equal access to testing.
You know, a lot of folks are like, $10 for a test, sure, give it to me. For some folks, $10 is a lot of money, you know, and so if it's covered on insurance and they don't have to pay for it, that is, you know, a beneficial place to be.
Bill Morrissey says he's slightly concerned about the speed of shipping. The link to order the tests is on our website at KOMU.com.
Striking auto workers in Winsville welcome some big supporters on the picket lines. Find out who after the break.
Plus, one Mid-Missouri library has some unique rewards for food pantry donors. That story is next.
And we saw above average temperatures today. We reached a high temperature of 87 degrees. We'll continue to see very similar temperatures throughout the rest of this week, and I'll have a few more details on that forecast coming up.